Oh, Rick has proof for Jesus.
Oh.
Let's see if we can do that in 3 minutes. Hi, Rick. Prove Jesus. You have 3 minutes.
Hello.
Go.
Good evening. I'll try to be as quick as I can.
Cool.
I believe what I believe is,
Cool.
I think it's the most logical conclusion. I don't have any credentials other than I'm a human, and I have studied the Bible from front to back over and over. And I've studied people, paid attention to how they act and what they do my whole life.
Okay.
And I think that I think that we don't even need a physical person to see this. We can look at the Bible itself.
How do you look at the Bible without a physical person?
Well, I'm just saying for sake of argument, because I know looking through history, I cannot verify that Jesus did in fact exist.
Me neither.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying for sake of argument, just looking at the Bible for what it says. If Jesus was a real person, an honest person, he was born into the culture that he was born into, and he probably would have believed that he was the Son of God until he figured out that he wasn't.
I'm so
And then
confused.
being an honest
hang on,
person,
Rick. Why on earth do you believe that he would have thought he was the Messiah until he figured out he wasn't? How would he figure out he wasn't? And why would he be?
If you believed that you had powers, okay?
No. That's not what you said.
If you was honest with yourself,
Rick.
or
Rick,
he was God.
Rick. Oh my God.
Sir?
You say he would have assumed he was Jesus. You're saying Jesus would have assumed that he was divine, and the reason for that is he had powers. Well, you don't know that he had powers.
No, sir. All I'm saying is that he would have believed what he was taught from birth in the culture that he was born into.
Maybe, maybe not. But do you think that the people were running around teaching people? Rick, I promise I'm going to let you fucking talk. Just let me ask my goddamn question. Do you think that people Do you think that people were teaching children that they were likely to be the Messiah in the first century?
I believe that if he was born as a son of David, then he probably was taught that from the leaders that were in control of him.
Okay, well, you have no evidence for this, and you have no evidence that he actually could do miracles.
I know, but please, I just want to look at what Jesus actually said.
You don't know what Jesus actually said. We have no, Rick, we have no way of knowing. We have no, Rick. We have no way of knowing what Jesus actually said or if he actually said anything.
Sir.
Right. It's all speculative, Rick. Like, this is all speculation. You're saying, well, if I assume this, then I can speculate this. So none of that's proof for anything. Like you said, you had proof that Jesus existed. And it seems like your proof is that there might have been someone named Jesus who was born into a culture where he was told he was the Son of God, who may or may not have powers. And if we look at the words he said, even though we don't actually know the words he said, because they're all second, third, fourth hand accounts way down the line, and there's no contemporary authors that we can prove even walked with him if he even was a person that existed. So a lot of this doesn't have the foundation that you maybe think it does.
Meanwhile, the genealogy that you want to point to, I give up.
Oh, Rick. We are at the end.
No, I want to hear what Rick has to say.
I
would love to hear what Rick has to say. I'd just like to finish a fucking sentence without getting interrupted.
I was trying to say that all we can look at to try to see what was being said is the Bible.
Okay. Now, what can the Bible possibly prove, Rick?
If we're going to take the Bible at face value.
Why would you take the Bible at face value? Because that means that you're believing that miracles happened on face value. Is that reasonable?
Well, no.
Thank you.
No, I'm saying throw out the miracles.
Okay, throw out the miracles. What's left? Well, you don't have the genealogy because that was added after the fact. There's no reason to assume that Jesus existed. There's no reason to assume that he was taught that he was a son of David, because you can't even tell me whether he's a son of David through Mary or through Joseph, depending on which genealogy you're going to look at.
What I'm saying is that he realized that there was nothing to base it on. And
How do you know that, though? How do you know that? How can you conceivably know? You have no idea what I am realizing right now. How could you possibly take the leap that you can figure out what a Jesus thought?
I have absolutely no way of knowing.
Then what's going on right now?
Then why did you call in to waste our time? You have no proof, no way of knowing. You just have a suspicion, and you think we should take the Bible at face value. Well, I don't, because I don't need to take a book at face value when it advocates for slavery, misogyny, when it advocates for slaughter, for keeping the young virgin to yourself, when it advocates for all of these terrible things. I don't think it has anything important to teach me. But when you can't show that anything in it is true that would be relevant to Jesus' story, and we take it at face value, then it looks like a fiction.
Can I please just look at one of the things that Jesus said?
How do you know that? Hang on. I will let you, Rick. How do you know what Jesus said?
One thing the Bible says Jesus said.
Jesus.
No, Rick, Matt's
Jesus.
asking you, how do you know Jesus even said that? How have you validated, verified, and how are you certain that the thing that you're about to say that Jesus said is in fact something that Jesus said, Rick? Answer that question.
I don't. I'm saying that there is no way to validate it. But
sure. Now,
what are we doing?
Rick,
what are we doing?
Rick, here's the next question.
Utility.
Rick, here's the next question. If you don't know that Jesus said it, why should we care? And do you think that we don't already fucking know what it says?
Because people are saying that they know what Jesus said and telling you to believe it.
Rick,
yeah,
do you know my history? Do you know that I walked down the aisle at the age of 5, that I was a Southern Baptist, that I was going to be a preacher, and that I know the Bible better than probably most of the people you've ever met in your fucking life?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay. So whatever you're going to tell me, what is it that you want to tell me that you think Jesus said?
I'm just saying that I have a different way of looking at it.
I just ask you, Rick, please tell me what the fuck you think Jesus said that I need to hear.
Jesus said, no one knows the Father except for he who ascends to the Father. And to me, at point value, that just is saying that nobody knows until they die.
Okay. So how does this prove that Jesus was a person that existed and that Christianity is true? And that you even know he said it. You've already admitted you have absolutely no way of knowing if he even said the thing that you're utilizing as evidence that he was potentially someone who existed in Christianity might be true. So all of it seems like an exercise in futility.
Rick, you literally called in. You literally called in to say, I believe in this book, which I can't prove and which I fully acknowledge nobody should accept at face value, but I want to take it at face value.
I'm saying that we have to cut through the people that's forcing it down our throat. We have to cut through their bullshit and see what we can say.
Rick, nobody's forcing anything down our fucking throats. You don't have to care what the Bible says at all, and you shouldn't until there's somebody giving you a reason why it should be considered. You're the one that's accepting what they're shoving down your throat.
You're finding ways to comport.
I'm saying I have an alternate view.
No, you don't. You are accepting without evidence what they were trying to shove down your throat.
No, I'm saying in a world where you cannot know what is or is not true, all you can do is...
I don't live in that world, Rick. I live in a world where you can know what is or isn't true, and there are some things that you can't. And if you can't know them, you shouldn't believe them.
And can I ask you a question to see if I'm right?
Okay.
All right. If we go back to the original Greek, where it starts off with the whole, in the beginning was the Word. All right. In the original Greek, was the word logos...
It wasn't Greek.
Go ahead.
I'm saying if it was logic, if that was the original meaning, it changes the whole story. If in the beginning was logic and reason, and it was overcome by people who wanted to be in power.
Rick, have you studied Greek?
A little bit.
Okay.
Not enough to know anything, really, but...
Well, then maybe you shouldn't be respinning the whole Bible based on what you think maybe a particular passage might have suggested in Greek. Have you talked to the experts?
All of my Christian friends look at me like I'm crazy when I say the things I'm saying, and I have no other way of looking at it. I mean,
you have no other way of looking at it. Rick, is it impossible for you to go, wow, I don't have enough information to believe this, so I'm not going to?
That's what I do. That's what I do every day.
Then you're an atheist.
I don't know if I'm a theist or an atheist right now.
If you say that don't have
by definition, yes.
If you say that you don't believe, then you're clearly not a theist, right?
But all I'm trying to do is work with what we have to work with is all.
Okay.
But why?
Hang on. Rick, listen to me. Let's say I gave you 5 numbers that came from my bank statement. Okay? Just 5 numbers. You don't know whether they're whether it's income, you don't know whether it's expenses, nothing. 5 numbers. That's all you've got to work with. What can you do with that if that's all you've got to work with?
I have absolutely nothing I can do with that.
Right. And now if I hand you an old book that you don't have originals for, you don't know who wrote it, you can't investigate, you have no way of confirming anything that's in that book, what can you do with that?
All you can do is try to see. No
fucking no. I teed it up for you like this was T-ball by giving you an example of, with incomplete information, the only right answer is to say, I can't make anything of this yet. You then took your preferred incomplete information and tried to claim that there was something you can make of it after you've already acknowledged repeatedly that you can't. Do you not see that?
But that's what I'm saying is I'm saying that Jesus' message is nobody can know the mind of God until you die and go there.
But okay, all right, Rick,
I don't give a fuck what Jesus said.
Rick, if you're admitting that you don't even know if he said it and you have no way of verifying it and you are skeptical about it and you're teetering on the edge, I'd like you to really think about this question. Why are you fighting so hard to retain it? Why? Like, you're going through mental gymnastics right now that are very difficult to follow. No, and it's all your interpretation of based on speculation. You have to recognize that everything that you're saying is your interpretation based on speculation. That is not something that's going to compel anybody else, nor should it, and nor should it be compelling to you, Rick. You understand that you're interpreting and then speculating off of that interpretation, right? You understand that, yes?
Yes, but I also...
Okay, how do you find truth? No, one sec. How do you get to truth by interpretation and speculation? How do you get to truth through speculation and interpretation? Is that a viable way to get to something true, to find out what truth is? Is that what we should do to find truth, to find out what's right, what's real, what's true?
No, what I'm saying.
Why are you doing it then? Why are you doing it then? Why? Because it's not to find truth, it's to retain a belief. You're doing this to retain a belief, not to find out what's true.
My paradigm changes daily. I puke, I cry, I weigh the evidence, I look at things.
You've weighed no evidence in this conversation.
You have no evidence to weigh.
Okay.
All right. We have gone way past. Rick, I appreciate the conversation and thank you for calling, and have a good rest of your evening, and give us a call back sometime. Let us know how the rest of the evidence weighing goes.